For years, the classic breakfast duo of bacon and eggs has been as American as apple pie and just as tangled in myths about health. But here's the plot twist. While eggs were unfairly thrown under the bus for their cholesterol content, bacon was quietly getting a free ride, even as it packed far more heart-harming baggage. If we're looking for the real dietary troublemaker in this morning love affair, bacon, not eggs, might deserve a lot more of our skepticism. In fact, when it comes to cardiovascular risk, bacon is less a side dish and more a red flag. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Bacon is undeniably delicious. It's crispy, savory, smoky, and smells like comfort. But behind that sizzle is a complex cocktail of saturated fat, sodium, nitrates, and preservatives that work together like a heist crew, not stealing gold, but chipping away at your cardiovascular health. The saturated fat alone is enough to raise LDL cholesterol levels, which promotes plaque buildup in arteries. That alone would put bacon on the nutritional watch list. But it doesn't stop there. Processed meats like bacon aren't just high in saturated fat, they're also loaded with sodium, which is notorious for raising blood pressure. A single serving of bacon can contain over 400 to 500 milligrams of sodium, which is about a quarter of the recommended daily limit. Most people aren't eating one slice either. High sodium intake causes the body to retain water, increasing blood volume and putting added strain on the heart. Over time, this can contribute to hypertension, a silent but major driver of stroke, heart attack, and kidney disease. And then there's the issue of nitrates and nitrites, chemicals used to preserve processed meats and give them that iconic pink hue. While they help bacon resist spoilage and keep its seductive look, they also have a dark side. In the body, these compounds can form nitrosamines, which have been linked to increased cancer risk and inflammation, both of which can play a role in heart disease development. The World Health Organization has even classified processed meats as Group 1 carcinogens, the same level as tobacco and asbestos, not because bacon is equally deadly, but because the evidence linking it to certain cancers is robust and consistent. Meanwhile, let's compare this to eggs. Poor, wrongly accused eggs. Yes, they contain cholesterol, but for most people, that doesn't translate into dangerously high blood cholesterol. Eggs don't have the sodium bomb, the nitrites, or the same levels of saturated fat as bacon. In fact, eggs are nutrient-dense powerhouses, offering high-quality protein, choline for brain health, and eye-protective antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin. For the average healthy adult, moderate egg consumption, even daily, is not associated with increased heart disease risk. The difference is clear. One food has been redeemed by science, the other is still hanging out with all the wrong nutrients. Even if we give bacon a generous benefit of the doubt, say, you're eating high-quality, nitrate-free bacon in moderation, it still doesn't shake its fundamental identity as a salty, fatty processed meat. There's no denying its pleasure factor, but from a health perspective, bacon is still carrying around a rap sheet. And unlike eggs, which have made a solid scientific comeback, bacon hasn't seen the same reversal. The studies keep stacking up. High consumption of processed meats is associated with higher risk of heart disease, diabetes, stroke, and certain cancers. The more bacon you eat, the more risk you're adding to the plate. Now, this doesn't mean bacon has to be erased from your life forever. Nutrition isn't religion, it's risk management. The key is context and frequency. A few slices of bacon here and there in an otherwise balanced diet isn't going to send you straight to the cardiologist's office. But making bacon a regular feature of your diet, especially paired with other high-sodium, high-fat foods, starts stacking the odds in the wrong direction. It's like having a tiny, salty saboteur on your plate, smiling through the crackle. In the grand scheme of breakfast health, eggs have been unfairly dragged through the mud, while bacon has skated by on charm, flavor, and nostalgia. But charm doesn't lower blood pressure, and nostalgia won't protect your arteries. If we're going to make informed choices, it's time to take a more honest look at what we're eating and what we're blaming. So yes, enjoy your eggs. They've earned their redemption. But when it comes to bacon, proceed with caution and maybe treat it less like a staple and more like what it actually is, an indulgent, occasional guest at the breakfast table, not a permanent resident. Your heart will thank you, even if your taste buds throw a tiny tantrum.